Hello everyone. Today we are going to focus on the dynamic control list. You might have observed that there is a requirement of blocking of the IP addresses in any of the firewall. It could be your FortiGate firewall, it could be Palo Alto, it could be any other firewall. Every time, whenever you want to block an IP address, most of the people directly log on to the firewall. They add that IP address in any of the policy or in any of the address objects, and then that IP address is getting blocked. That list is keep on increasing. Sometimes we need to block the same IP addresses in some other devices. For example, the same list of the IP addresses you want to block on the in any of the Palo Alto firewall, any Cisco Firepower, going to the checkpoint, or in case you're using any of the proxy services, you also want to use that list to block these IP addresses into the proxy, so that basically that you are blocking all the IP addresses correctly. It means that you want to put all the IP addresses somewhere in the safe place. So right now, what I'm going to do, I will take this server mm, here. So this is a server I'm going to take to put these IP addresses here into the common place. It means that my IP address is here, it will be in the common place. And in case you have the Palo Alto firewall or some other firewalls in from this central location, you get this feed of the IP address list to the FortiGate firewall, to the proxy. Either you are using the Blue Coat or some other very good proxies, or you also want to feed that thread to the Palo Alto. The benefit you have that you have to block these IP addresses or prepare the list of these blocked IP addresses here into the same common place, and they will be feed, or they will be, this update will be sent to all of the devices altogether. You don't have to log in three devices to update your block list. So that's the benefit of this uh, block list in the common place. People call it as a dynamic control list, because this list is keep on changing. So before I go ahead, I will explain you the topology. That's how I have created. So I have taken one FortiGate firewall right now, but you can use this anywhere in any other devices. I have put a Windows server, that's basically a Windows 7 machine, but inside that I have hosted one IIS server, so that this we can create one URL, and that URL will be pushed onto the firewall. So I will show you how to do that. And also, I have taken one switch, and there are some of the computers for the testing that whatever the block list I will create, whether that block list is working or not. These IP address configuration that I have done, for example, this 172.16.1.1, because these are the part of the basic FortiGate firewall setup. So you should know it. If you don't know, then you can watch other videos on my channel. I have shown this in very good detail, that how to configure a FortiGate firewall. And also from the port 3, I have taken the connectivity towards the internet. So it means that I will ping Google DNS that 8.8.8, and that's how I will test the connectivity. It is reaching or not. And then after, once I have prepared the block list, then how this block list is working or not. Okay, and I'm configuring this firewall from this my administrator, that's my local piece. All right, so let's start the configuration. So first of all, I will go to this Windows server, that where I have prepared the list. Okay, so if I double click here, you will see that it will open one of my Windows 7 machine. What you have to do, you have to enable the IIS server here. Okay, so how you do it on the Windows the 7 that I show you, but the same things works in all of the Windows devices. And in fact, you are using the any of the Linux servers or the any other Apache servers, you can use the same thing. Okay, so what you have to do, like you have to do the control panel, and under the control panel, you have to go to the program and features. Under the program and features, you will see there's an option of this turn Windows features on or off. Click on that. it will show you this one of the option, Internet Information Services. So that's basically known as the IIS server. So right now you see that I have ticked it, like it's enabled. By default, in some of the PCs, it's not enabled. So you have to just check like this, and then you have to click OK. I have already enabled it and done it, so I'm not going to do it once again for it. Okay. How you test it, that whether the IIS server is working on your PC or not? The very simple test you have to do, you can go to the Google Chrome, and inside the Google Chrome, what you will do, you will just do the localhost. Okay, you can also do the HTTP colon slash slash localhost. And if you are getting this page, IIS 7, it means that the local IIS server is enabled. In case you are getting the web page not reachable, not working, it means that it is not enabled. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you from where this location or this image is coming from. So this, for this, you have to be a developer, 2%, not 100%, only 2% developer mind. If you have, you are good. Even if you don't know, that's fine. I'm going to tell you how you can be. Okay. Now you have to go to your computers, like directories. Under the computers, local disk C, we have this inet PUB. Okay, so this is basically, this folder belongs to the IIS server. Just double click on it. There's a directory named as the www root. So that's basically the directory which hosts all the files which you can see onto the browser. So if I double click here on www root, you see that there's an image as a welcome. If you double click, you will see that same image what you see inside the browser. So ultimately, this is the directory wherever that whatever the pages people use to host publicly or any other browser, they put under this directory. All right. So here I have to create a dynamic list. So dynamic list I going to create new, just simple text document you have to create. Okay. And double click and just give some of the IP addresses here, 192.168.1.1, 192.168.20.20. Okay. And next thing, the most important part you have to do, file, save as, and here you have to give the name is the block list. Any name you can give it, but the ultimate part is you have to give the HTML file. Okay, not the .txt file. You don't have to. Even if you can give, but I will suggest to go for the .html. Okay, and then save as a all files. Okay, and just click on save. Once you do it, you will see that whatever the document, the name it has been created, block list, it has something like internet symbols. Okay, same thing you can do on the latest Windows machines. That works in the same way. Okay, and now what I have to do, I can test whether my block list is working or not. So I go here and localhost, and then I will say block list dot html. So you see whatever the IP addresses we have put it there, they are visible here. It means that it is able to fetch those IP addresses here. Now your job will be to reach, like make this whatever file is available here to feed to this FortiGate firewall. So let's go to FortiGate firewall. I have to log in it first. Here inside the FortiGate firewall, there is an option of the security fabric. Here you see at the bottom, right? Click on the security fabric. There is an option of the external connector here. Click on the external connectors. No results. We haven't created any of the external connectors. Create new. You see a lot of the options, not of our interest right now. At the bottom, there is a thread feed section. Here, you will see there's a list of the IP addresses. So just click on this IP addresses. It's giving us a name as the, so we have to give some name. I will play it as a blacklist. Or you can say anything, IP block list, whatever the name over we have created, same thing we can give it. Let's use the same. Here, the different name also you can give it. Okay, let me give the different name, blacklist. Spelling is wrong, and I will say the blacklist IPs. Okay, URI. URI means that where is that list is available, URL address of that one. So earlier we used to do it a local host. You remember here we used to give the here the local host, but local host is only for ourselves. But right now we are using the servers from two other machines. Here we are using the self means the local, but right now we are in the remote location, so we have to use the IP address this one of the server. So we'll use the IP address of the server 172.16.1.100. So I will do like HTTP 172.16.1.100. So this is the IP address where your dynamic list is hosted or that is available. And after that one, you have to give that block list.html. Don't worry about it. This field is required. It will be on there. Okay. Perfect. And you can treat this file as a safe file. You can enable that username password so that anybody else cannot read that one. But as of now, it's not required. So I will disable this feature. Okay. And it's not mandatory that you have to only use the HTTP. If your server is hosted with the HTTPS and they have a valid certificate, you can also use the HTTPS service itself. But for that, you need a very good developer who can host those devices. Ultimately, whatever I'm doing here, that's the part of the developer. It's not your job. Okay. But now you are going to be a developer. 2% might be 3% now, right? And refresh rate, that is a 5 minutes. It means that every 5 minutes the FortiGate will go to that server and fetch the updated list. So every 5 minutes that list will be refreshed. Comments you can give if you want. I'm not giving any comment. Click OK. So you see that this now blacklist IPs has been created. It says that the connect is pending. That's okay. If I refresh it, still it is saying as unavailable. I'm sure that it might have not done something wrong. Blocklist.html, blocklist. Okay, I think it corrected, right? Yes. Now it has fetched it. You see that now it is tick mark there, right? This green means that we have the very good positivity. Cool. And you can see the entries that whatever the IP addresses it has fetched. So it has got the two IP addresses, same IP addresses, whatever I have added here, right? 192.168.1.1 and 20.20.20. You can see it here. Also, you can see here under the block list. So if I go here, if you want like see it, you can see that like this one, right? We have added the two IP addresses, same thing are available under the firewall. Now the magic part, that how basically you can use that as a policy. So right now, before that I use that to block it. Okay, I want to show you that right now I'm able to ping the Google DNS from this computer, this 10.1.1.1.10 to the internet. So the reachability is perfect, but I want to show you for the magic ping 8.8.8.8. Okay, not the dot at the last. Perfect. So it is working fine. Now we have the reachability up to the internet. For that, I have created the policies to allow that traffic, that setup, like you don't have, like I have already done it. And now the most important part, that I want to block the IP addresses, whatever are available in this list, right? So for that, just create a new policy. You can say the blacklist IPs incoming interface. So for me, like in this direction, will port 2 to port 3, port 2 to port 3. You have to be careful, whatever the things you are doing it. And now the most important part is the source. So in the source, you have to select the external connector, whatever you have created. So right now we have created, if you see under the address, I think at the bottom, you see that the IP addresses thread feed, that is the blacklist IPs, whatever we have just created. So you have to select that blacklist IPs. Destination, I will select all. To any destination they cannot reach, and in fact to all the services. And the traffic will be denied. Cool. So if any of the IP address falls into the blacklist, the traffic will be denied onto the firewall. And I will say log violation traffic. Okay. So if it is denied, sometimes for the overloading of the traffic, we disable this log violation field, but I just allow it for the simplicity or to view the logs. And I want to move this policy above the normal my internet policy. Okay, perfect. And if I test it now, you will see that it is still working. Why? Because the IP addresses here I have 172.16.1.10, right? That's the IP address I should block. So I go here, I update my block list, and I say that please block 172.16.1.10 and just save it. Okay, close. And now if I go, because it will take 5 minutes to refresh it, I want it faster. So what I do, I go here into the block list. You see that the only two are available. I will refresh it manually from here. So once I refresh it, you will see there are three valid IP addresses. 172.16.1.10 is available. Perfect. And now if I ping it, no, you cannot ping because you have blocked the IP address from the dynamic control list. Bang, you're done. So whatever the rules we have created, that's perfectly working. Same time, if I enable this computer 1.20 and I test it from there, it will work. But before that, I have to configure the IP address here. So 172.16.1.20 should be the IP address. No, not one. It should be 16.20/24. And the gateway for this should be 16.170. No, that was one was correct. Sorry. 172.16.20, 172.16.1.1. And now if I ping it from here, 8.8.8, not 5 8, 4 are sufficient. We are working. There we go. Now let's remove that. I have opened it. Okay, sorry. This is my IP address, right? So this time let's add .20 and I have removed .10. Ultimately it means, right? So I just save it. .6, close and manually refresh. After 5 minutes, it will be automatically available. We have the refresh sheet. I cannot wait for 5 minutes, otherwise my you will not wait. Basically, I can wait in my video, but you will skip it. So I'll just refresh it faster, and you will see there's three entries now. 1.20 is available, and you will see the magic here. That .20 will stop working, but .10 start working. Right? Perfect. This is computer one. You can see it here at the above. Computer one has the ping. Computer two doesn't have the ping. Perfect. So that's it from this session. I hope it was a good learning for you. See you in the next session. Till that, bye bye.